COVID-19 and the nationwide lockdown to deal with it has created so much fluidity that keeping track of everything that's going on, sometimes even when the rules directly impact us, has proven to be a humongous challenge. It's been an opportunity for many. I'm sure you've seen the hands-free sanitizer stands that have started retailing, non-branded locally produced disinfectants at the chemists, and of course all the hand-delivered made-at-home solutions for our many problems. But it's also been an opportunity for fraudulent products and unscrupulous advertising claims, from anti-coronavirus mattresses to a host of medical remedies claiming to provide immunity and protection from the novel coronavirus. It's a quagmire out there. Advertising self-regulatory body ASCI, therefore, has been working overtime since April. It's taken suo motu cognizance of more than 400 such claims shared on social and digital media and on advertiser websites. 50 COVID cure ads were asked to be withdrawn and over 90 flagged off to the regulator for potential violation of the Drugs and Magic Remedies Act. To discuss this and to find out how to give self-regulation more teeth in a digital world, I'm talking today to Rohit Gupta, Chairman of ASCI. Rohit, thank you for joining us. It's good to see you.
Good to see you, and thank you.
You want to take us through the kind of advertising claims that have emerged in the last 3 months that ASCI has had to deal with?
Well, yeah, it's been busy time for ASCI's secretariat, and I think, with the lockdown in Mumbai happening mid-March, so they've also been, operating out of home. But yeah, I think the secretariat has done a brilliant job during this period of lockdown because, early enough, Ministry of Ayush sought the help of ASCI on such advertisements. You need to understand that mainly most of these advertisements come, on the digital platforms and other smaller platforms. Through the suo motu way, we are able to process more than 400 complaints, as you mentioned earlier. Yes, so very early enough, ASCI started working, on such claims and working closely with the government to ensure that these ads were taken down.
There's almost some amount of preempting that has happened. It was as if ASCI was prepared or was expecting these kind of claims at a time like this, right? Give us a sense of where that outlook comes from, this being able to be ready for what is a deluge of opportunists trying to put forward misleading and completely false claims in many cases.
Yeah, so see what's happening over the period of a number of years. Digital media in India has become very big. And a lot of these advertisers obviously can't afford to come on, traditional media like television or large print. So digital is an easy way for them. And ASCI has been working closely on monitoring the digital media. And today about 10% of our complaints are on through digital media. So I think that's where we were able to, the proactive steps taken by ASCI's secretariat, we were able to, catch these ads at a very early stage. So I think now, we encompass all media, whether it is the traditional media or the digital media. So I think that's where, we came in very early enough to be able to look into these complaints.
Right. So this suo motu cognizance and surveillance that ASCI has undertaken seems to have borne results. I have to mention the very, very controversial announcement by Patanjali about Coronil as a cure for COVID-19, and then the Ayush Ministry, then the intervening, then the back and forth. And today we believe it is still available and it is still being sold as a COVID management prescription or a COVID management solution. I know Patanjali is not a member. What can you tell us about where consumers can seek redress in cases like this?
As you're aware that this is sub judice, so I really can't talk about this. But all I can say is that, the government itself took immediate steps on this. So I think the government intervened early enough on this issue.
Let us use this to understand where does a consumer seek redress if ASCI is not able to, to step in. Should consumers reach out in cases like this or in similar cases with government bodies and regulators directly?
Well, as you know that, majority of the advertisers today are members of ASCI. So we really, in the 35 years that ASCI has been there, there have been very rare incidents, something like these, which have happened. But the majority of the case, as you're aware, most of the members, most of the advertisers are a member of ASCI. So this doesn't really, take place that often. And we also, as ASCI as a body, works very closely with the government on all issues. So I think, and we try to work closely, with the ministries, including the Ministry of Information and Broadcasting.
Yes.
So that work of ASCI continues to happen, and this is the prime body for any readdressal, and the government recognizes it. The Supreme Court recognized it recently. Yes, so absolutely. It's the kind of work which has happened over the years. ASCI's got a lot of respect now.
Right. So you're saying that for advertisers who are not members of ASCI, if consumers have to make them accountable, then between ASCI, between the regulators, between the collaboration between government and ASCI, there are ways and means for consumers to seek redress. That's what you're saying.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right.
Because like I said, we work closely with virtually all the ministries. So, in fact, in the COVID time, Ministry of Ayush asked for our support. So, there's been enough litigation in the past, and and there are Supreme Court rulings on this.
Give me a sense of what ASCI needs going forward from the government, because a lot of people believe that while ASCI has been very effective and has over the years worked on improving its processes, speeding things up so that it can really be effective with the kind of crackdown that it does or makes on misleading and other false claims of advertisers, the fact that you cannot penalize advertisers, that you cannot penalize your members is something it's beyond your remit, but that is a handicap, a lot of people would say. How do you react to that, and what do you need to on that front going forward?
Yeah, so as you know that we've been working very closely with the Department of Consumer Affairs for 5 consecutive years now. And with the new regulation, which is about to come out, the CCPA Act, I think what we're trying to stress is that the credibility which ASCI has developed, and the kind of processes which ASCI has today in its place to be able to catch these advertisements which are misleading, and today including the digital, apart from the traditional media, including the digital advertisement. So I think, this relationship has only been getting better and better over the years. We've been working with Ministry of Information and Broadcasting. In fact, they took out a thing where they asked all channels to run a scroller in support of ASCI, so if they to increase consumer awareness. So I think, like I said, our job at ASCI is to work closely with the government, because the kind of processes which ASCI has in place, there's no other body which can, and the kind of experience which ASCI has. If you look at the ASCI board, it represents most of the large advertisers. It represents other people. So I think what's important and easy for the government also, and when you look at any government narrative in the last couple of years, they also want self-regulation. Any kind of a forum, everywhere it is self-regulation, including in the TV broadcast business. It's all about self-regulation, and I think that's where we come in.
Right. You mentioned the CCPA, the Central Consumer Protection Authority, which was actually to start around April. And I'm sure COVID has come in the way, which is why we don't have the body ready yet. But give us, when that body comes into place, what is the role, what is the relationship that ASCI will have with the CCPA?
So like I said, our role is, from a body is to, identify the misleading that, try and take them out. But obviously, like you mentioned, we don't have the authority to penalize anybody, and I think that's where the government steps in, and that's how we need to build our relationship and working closely with the government. Is that the prosecution, those areas are taken by the government. We inform them, we take care of all the processes prior to that, and then the government acts on those issues where people do not take the advertisements or are under the under the law, the statutory law, where they need to be prosecuted. So I think it would be a close partnership with the government. And I think the CCPA is a very, very important act for the consumers in India. And I think advertisers, who come up with misleading ads will be more careful because, it has, you could be arrested, so stuff like that will happen. So I think people will also get very cautious of trying to create any misleading advertising.
Will the ASCII code be part of the starting point or the fulcrum on which the CCPA operates?
Well, that's the discussion which we're having with the ministry currently, is to see, because this code has worked.
Yes.
And if you look at the Cable Act, this code is there.
Yes.
The Cable Act, the Ministry of I&B has incorporated in the Cable Act. So we are working closely with the government on this. It's still, like I said, work in progress right now before they come with the act. But when you look at it from an industry size, there is no other body which has this wide spectrum of being able to track these ads, and it's self-regulatory because, like I said earlier, a majority of the advertisers are members of ASCII.
Yes. Rohit, give us a sense, tell people or explain to people how ASCII processes have evolved and how, when someone uses that WhatsApp number to register a complaint or goes onto the website or even gets in touch with ASCII through social media, because a lot of communication is happening through social media these days, isn't it? Give us a sense of how ASCII responds and how quickly ASCII responds, because a lot of work has gone into making these processes very robust and responsive, isn't it?
Yeah, so, on these complaints, one is the complaints with the consumers make, which come to us through our WhatsApp, through our site, through other medium. Then ASCII on itself, Zoomortal catches these complaints. We have a tracking system where we, like I said, traditional media, including digital now, where we track and we take Zoomortal things and actions against them. And then we have, these meetings which happen once a month, where we have representatives from, different industries. We have, we have industry leaders over there, and I think they work with the complaints go through them, and we have a full ASCII code, which sees through whether there, is there any misleading kind of information or it's not within the code, and that's how it works. So we have, we including have a redressal system where if the complainant is not happy with this thing, then we have retired judges, both High Court and Supreme Court judges who work with ASCII, and they can put up the complaint to them if they're not happy with the immediate direction which have come from the
right.
So we have various mechanisms of redressal too.
Yes. Given that there is no penal authority, given that participation is voluntary, given that membership is voluntary, what do you think makes ASCII effective?
I think one thing that makes ASCII effective is the fact that it's a neutral, unbiased body. And it is, like I said, anything which we've seen working, and I'm also on the broadcast side.
Yes.
Nothing works better than self-regulation, because government intervention should be at the last, And I think when majority of the advertisers are with you at ASCII, it's easy for them to understand, because tomorrow they could be disciplined or such a thing. So I think, and ASCII is not new; it's been there for 35 years.
Yes.
So it's very, very credible organization. So I think that's what sets it apart. And globally, those are the accepted norms.
How do you make ASCII, what it does, and the scope of ASCII much, much more widely known? You mentioned some time back about the Ministry of Information and Broadcasting issuing an advisory to broadcasters, asking you guys to run scrolls to inform people that they should get in touch with ASCII when they see objectionable advertising. But having said that, what more can ASCII do, and what are the deliberations you all have to ensure that, the fact that ASCII is available as a redressal mechanism to the consumer, how do you spread that word beyond the cities and the metros? Because there's a feeling that, digital media communication is quite rampant and really fast, especially via social media and via WhatsApp in the villages, in the smaller towns, in the hinterland.
Yeah, you're absolutely right, and I think that's the biggest challenge we have is the awareness, and that will continue to drive our main agenda is to create awareness. So one is we use our members to create awareness, whether it's on the television side or print side, and now we want to get more into the digital side to create awareness because that, as you know, is a medium which is exploding in India and is fairly unregulated because television and print is still very regulated in India, whereas digital is not. So I think those challenges continue, and I think that's a good challenge to have, is how to create more awareness. But what we've seen is that the graph year on year is growing on the number of complaints which are coming to ASCII. Previous year, we had a growth of nearly 30% in terms of number of complaints coming. So I think that's a good yardstick of measurement. Is if your number of complaints grow, then obviously the awareness is more. But have we reached where we want to be? Certainly not. I think we've got a long way ahead of us.
Any thoughts on how to make it happen? Maybe rope in a big celebrity endorser?
Yes,
there must be something that you all are thinking of.
No, we are. Absolutely. You got it right. We are working on it. Like I said, the COVID came in between and stopped some of our plans. But yes, obviously, that's one of the options which we have. And today, a lot of celebrities are willing to, lend their voice and their face for a cause like ASCII.
Do you see brands having to work harder when it comes to the trust levels that consumers have in them?
Anuradha, what I see is today brands, are also becoming very, very, they know the consumer, and the whole trust around the brand is so important for any person. So today, if you're not going to be a brand that can be trusted, you're not going to last very long. Today, advertisers are far more conscious than ever before because, they don't want the brand to take any hit. And today, like I said, consumers are far more aware today of their rights, of the brand, what they've got, they delivered what they asked for. So today, I think brands are getting far more conscious than ever before.
You played the role of steering ASCII as the chairman of this body for it's a year-long term. You want to tell us what that's been like? What are the challenges that you faced?
I think during this period, like I said, the biggest challenge is, with the government coming up with the, 650 Act. I think the last couple of times we've had a couple of meetings with the ministries, and I think that's the challenge is to make sure that, the relevant ministries understand what ASCII does, understand what the role ASCII has played over the last 35 years, how critical that's been. And the whole thing about self-regulation. So I think because there's a lot of work which has gone in there, apart from, the Secretariat being very, very busy, especially, like I said, with COVID stuff which is coming in. And I think, so I think for me personally has been the challenge of working very closely with the government. We've had good meetings at the ministry level with the Minister of Information and Broadcasting. And I think he really, really understood the role that ASCII played, and really acknowledged it, and he knew exactly what we were doing. And that's very good to hear. When you, as an industry body, go up there and somebody already knows you well, acknowledges the work you're doing, it feels good. So I think that's something which is good. And as we move further, the digital side of the business, because that is exploding, and like I said earlier, that's fairly unregulated. How are we able to get more, both from advertising side, because there are a lot of new advertisers who are on digital platform and not on, are not on traditional media, to get them be part of ASCII's membership too, so that they understand, all about ASCII and the rights.
There's talk and buzz these days about OTT streaming service content and how that needs to be regulated, or that needs to seriously consider self-regulation. Maybe the ASCII model is something that they can look at and find ways to adapt for their particular needs. What say, Rohit?
Absolutely, and I think it needs to do it because if we don't, then one day the government will step in. So I think it's important for the OTT platforms to also understand that and like the broadcast business did, that if you don't self-regulate yourself, then I don't think we leave the option with except that the government will then come in and regulate you. And I don't think anybody wants that. Nor does the government want.
Nor does the government.
So in fact, the government is pushing you to regulate yourself.
Right. Rohit, thank you very much for joining us. It was wonderful catching up. Stay safe, and hopefully we'll catch up soon. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
And thank you very much for watching. Look out for another conversation on the Media Dialogues on CNBC TV 18.